God with a club. When luck runs out, most people just sigh. But this man, he grabbed a big wooden club and marched off to settle the score with the heavens. A tale of magic gifts, a sneaky trick, and a stick that knows exactly how to teach a lesson. Once upon a time, listen closely now. Long after I'm gone and you remain, this story will still be told, so open your ears and keep it safe, for you'll never hear another quite like it. There once was a man as strong as an ox and bold as they come. Nothing ever bested him except his own luck. He could do every job, pick up any new trade, outwork 3 men day and night. But no matter how much he tried, he never got ahead. All the while, his neighbors had everything they needed, and he always ended up with nothing but empty hands, a nagging wife, and 9 hungry children. One day, well and truly fed up, he grumbled to himself,
"This can't go on forever. God gives all to others and leaves me nothing but the short end of the stick. Well, I'll hunt him down with my club. If he won't give me my share, I'll show him."
He grabbed his club, snatching it from the darkest corner, and stuffed an empty sack in his belt before heading for the door. His wife called after him, her voice sharp as a scythe.
"What are you doing? Where are you going?"
"To God with my club."
"What's gotten into you? Where do you expect to find God?"
"If he made the world, you can bet he must be somewhere in it. Now stop your nagging and let me get on with it."
Off he marched, nobody knows where. He himself couldn't say how far he wandered, but there was no God in sight. By dusk, he found himself stumbling onto a meadow so wide it seemed to have no end and no edge. He muttered, still cranky,
"If God isn't here, I give up. At least there's enough room to have it out. Whoever shows up first, I'll take it out on him. Maybe that'll cool my temper at last."
Out of the twilight shuffled a little old beggar with a staff. The man squinted, then marched straight at him, club ready.
"Where are you going, friend?"
"To God with my club. Not that it's your business."
Maybe it's not. But you can't drain the sea or topple a mountain, and you surely won't get the best of God.
The man frowned.
"Well, I've started thinking the same myself. Still, since God isn't here, I'll unleash my anger on the first person I meet. So look out, old man."
He swung his club, ready to wallop the beggar, but the man's eyes were gentle as sunrise, and the club fell limp at his side. All his anger ebbed away. They stood, fierce man and kindly old beggar, facing each other in the silent dusk. But all the fight drained from our hero, leaving only a long, sheepish pause between them.
You see, friend, what do you hope to accomplish swinging that club? What can you do to God? Here, take this cloth instead. Head on home. With it, you'll never have to worry about food or drink again. All you need to say is, "Cloth, set the table." Whatever you wish for will appear.
Then, just as magically as he'd appeared, the beggar vanished. The man didn't think too hard about the how or why. He just meant to try the cloth for himself. Eager but cautious, he didn't want to test it out in the middle of a lonely meadow where nobody would see.
"Better to make them all stare,"
he thought, and made for the nearest inn. At the inn, he strutted right in, and, before a full room, whipped out his amazing new cloth.
"Cloth, set the table."
No sooner had he spoken, the table groaned with roast meats, pies, and wine, anything he could wish for. He ate his fill and soon tipped over, snoring. The sharp-eyed innkeeper had watched it all. She'd been waiting for just such a miracle, And, the moment he slept, she whisked away the true cloth and swapped in a look-alike, a fake, just for show. The man woke up at the inn, stuffed and happy, then hurried home, bursting through his own door.
Wife! Kids! Come see, ask for anything. It'll be on the table before you can blink.
He declared impatiently,
Cloth, set the table.
but nothing happened. Angry, he shouted again,
Set the table. Porridge and milk now, on the double.
Still, nothing. He stomped and yelled, but the fake cloth was powerless. Furious, he stormed out, vowing vengeance.
That beggar cheated me. He gave me just one meal and not a crumb more. Forgot all about my wife and children. But just wait, you old fox. I'll give you your due next time.
He slung his club over his shoulder, and like a hornet on a rampage, he tore back to the field, searching every which way for the sneaky beggar who'd played him for a fool. But as soon as those gentle old eyes met his, the club drooped, and his anger vanished without a trace. The beggar only smiled kindly.
Why waste your strength on things bigger than you? Lost the cloth through your own doing, not my fault. I won't give it back, but take this hen. She'll give you a nest full of gold whenever you ask.
In a blink, the beggar was gone, and the man found a plump hen tucked under his arm. He raced back to the same inn, where the landlady welcomed him like a long-lost uncle. He plopped his hat on the table, set the hen inside, and said,
Hen, lay some gold.
Sure enough, a hatful of coins appeared. He ordered a feasting supper, drinking his fill. The innkeeper plied him with wine, chattering sweetly. While he dozed, she swapped his plump, beloved hen for a scraggy impostor, her trick as gentle as her smile. At sunrise, not delaying a second, he dashed all the way home, never even stopping to catch his breath, burst in the door and shouted,
Wife, come quick! You've never seen such a thing.
He set the hen on the table, crowned her with his hat, and commanded,
Hen, lay some gold.
nothing. He tried again, and again, no gold. Enraged, he hurled the sham hen across the room, stormed outside, and set off for the third time, clutching his club and vowing revenge. He stormed along the same old path, fuming and muttering, gripping his club so tightly his knuckles whitened. By sundown, he reached the very same endless meadow, pausing to glare in every direction, hunting for the sly beggar who'd tricked him twice already. Spying the little old man right in the middle of the field, staff in hand, he lunged, club held high, ready to smash him flat. But as soon as their eyes met, his anger evaporated. The club drooped, and all his bluster melted away. With a gentle, twinkling smile, the beggar stepped closer.
Look at you, charging at things you can't possibly handle. Like a fly banging its head against the wall. But you know, I rather like you. So hand over that club. Here, take my staff instead. Just say, staff, beat, and you'll see what happens.
Before he knew it, the man's club was gone, and the beggar's staff already resting in his palm. He barely noticed the trade. He was about to stomp off, but stopped, cocked his head, and smirked.
No sense running off in a hurry. I might as well try this staff here and see what sort of magic trouble I've just gotten myself into. Staff, beat!
The staff leapt to life, walloping and whacking, with nobody else around. It beat him silly. Joints popping, bones aching. He begged,
Oh, staff, please. Stop!
The staff immediately fell still, like a dog just waiting to be scratched, and slipped itself gently back into his hand, as if it had never done a thing wrong.
Phew! I sure didn't see that lesson coming. But fine, let it be. Maybe now I'll give out a few lessons myself. You'll see.
Finally, off he trudged back to the inn, grumbling all the way. The hostess was spinning circles around him, fussing about what he'd like for supper and batting her eyelashes like she'd never seen so grand a guest.
Welcome, sir. Whatever you want, name it. I'll have it on your table at once.
Oh, I'll order something. But you may not appreciate the way I pay the bill.
But of course I will. Eat, drink, and make yourself at home.
At last, after his last bite and one very satisfied burp, he rose, gave the innkeeper a sly grin, and declared,
Well, time for the bill. Staff, beat!
The staff sprang to life without hesitation. In a heartbeat, it was whirling, thumping, whacking, and cracking, all across the poor innkeeper's back and sides. She screamed, flailed, and kicked, shouting every curse she knew. But the staff kept on, and by now, even the boldest customers had darted for the door. No one dared go near. At last, without the strength to scream, the innkeeper crumpled in a heap on the floor, squeaking like a chick. Only then, battered and breathless, did she croak,
Stop, stop. I'll tell you everything. Your magic cloth is here, and the hen is in the cupboard on her golden nest.
He rushed to the cupboard. There they were, the real ones at last. And triumphant, he hurried straight home.
Wife! Kids! Everything is back to rights. Shout out what you want for dinner.
Milk porridge! Milk porridge!
The children cheered. He gave the order, and the cloth spread a feast across the table. No one left the table hungry, and the whole house hummed with glee. He looked around at the eager faces, barely able to hide his growing smile, before leaning in and asking,
Now, who wants golden eggs?
We do! We do!
cried the children, crowding around his knees and chirping like a flock of hungry chicks. He set the hen on her golden nest and commanded. Gold eggs clattered onto the floor, laughter, clapping hands, joy all around.
Remember, children, you'll have this fortune when you're good.
He said, patting their heads. But then, with a sly wink and a sudden shout, he cried,
Now see what happens when you're bad. Staff, beat!
He barked the command, but quickly whispered to the wood,
But soft as a pillow.
The staff shot to life, hopping around the room, dusting the children's breeches and tickling their ribs left and right. Squeals of surprise and laughter burst out across the room. Not a single tear was shed. As soon as the commotion settled, the staff hopped back into his hand. The father chuckled and gathered them close.
That's your lesson for today. It watches you even when I don't. So be good, little ones, and all will be well.
He scooped his little ones into a hug. Soon they were all scrambling for more golden eggs, as if nothing had ever happened. The house filled with laughter, the table with food, and for the first time in memory, peace truly settled in. And from that day on, the man's fortune only grew brighter, and he was never again tempted to march off looking for God with a club.